Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you for another cartoon talk. This is going to be number 33 and this is going to be Kung Fu Panda 2. So let's get into it. Now, yes, I normally do, you saw I had to pause there for a second. I ain't got the light on in the back. Now, I normally do just regular cartoons up here since it's cartoon talk, but I do some animated movies because, it's animated, so it's a cartoon. I normally, like to leave it for actual review. But me and my cousin were watching Kung Fu Panda 2 the other day, and I was like, well, I gotta do a cartoon talk because it's been 3 weeks, so I might as well just do this. I like this movie. Obviously, it's a sequel to Kung Fu Panda. I love that movie. I saw Kung Fu Panda, the first one, just on DVD. We always had it in my house. I watched it all the time. The second one, I remember seeing it in theaters. I can't remember with who. I like, obviously you think your family kept me, but I don't know if I went with a friend's family or my family. I remember I saw it in theaters. I know that. And the third one, I know I saw that in theaters. I remember that. I remember that because I was in 7th grade. So I remember I saw that in theaters. The third one, and the first one I saw it on DVD. The second one I saw in the movie theaters, but I can't remember with who and what happened. I remember it was in the theater though. It was a really good movie. I liked it. I remember, before I forget, I want to bring this up. Do y'all remember it was a commercial for Kung Fu Panda 2? And in the commercial, at the end of it, Poe just stared at the screen. It felt like for 5 minutes. I thought my TV was broke or something. If y'all can remember that commercial, please tell me. I remember I was watching TV and a commercial came on for Kung Fu Panda 2 and Poe was saying whatever and he just stared at the screen like this. But his eyes were taking up the whole screen and he was just staring and he wasn't moving. And it felt like forever. And I was so confused as a kid. I was like, what's going on? I thought the TV broke. I thought, I didn't know what was going on. I was getting kind of freaked out. Like, did something happen to the TV? Like, I turned the volume up, turned it down, turned it on, off, pose, still like, what the heck is going on? Now, I remember I stood up and I was finna walk out of the room, and then Poe said something. He said, "See, like that was awesome." And then Kung Fu Panda 2 in theaters, whatever. Then see that bright light. I gotta move like this. Then he was like, Kung Fu Panda 2 whenever. And I was like, oh snap, that kind of shocked me. I was actually kind of nervous today. I'm back again, and my cousin turned off the light for me, so we're all good now. So, I actually forgot where I was because he was in here for a little while. But actually, okay, now you can see my full head of hair. But I really forget where I was. Anyway, I really like this movie because of the inner peace thing. That was really cool. The animation was on par with the first movie. The animation was crazy, but it was still really, you could tell they touched it up. It looks really nice. I liked how they gave Poe more of a, he was like the goofball throughout the whole. I mean, he still is the goofball in this movie, and the goofball, and he was a goofball in the first movie, and the goofball in this movie. But they gave him some more. Not some more, but some emotional elements with him. Obviously, with all the pandas being extinct from the main villain, and then obviously he keeps getting flashbacks with his mom, who was the last person he saw as a baby before Ping picked him up and adopted him, which is pretty cool. It was a really nice moment because every time Poe saw that, when he saw the sun marking on the wolf dude, and every time the peacock guy. I actually forgot his name. I forgot his name, but he was pretty cool. Because every time the peacock guy, well, yeah, I was gonna say wings, but are his wings. But that huge big feather fan thing they have in the back of them. Every time he spread them out, he saw that symbol on him. He'll freak out and he'll have a flashback and that would get him disoriented and mess up the mission. I really like that. A really good emotional moment for the goofball trying to listen to him. And then we don't get too much of Tiger's backstory, but I really like the moment when he was like, I want to be hardcore and emotionless, just like you, Tigress. And Tigress was she was going to say something when the Furious 5 came out. And then when he brought that up again after they failed their mission the first time to destroy the weapon. They destroyed the weapon the first time, but he had a ton of backups. He had a buttload of backups, so they were not prepared for that. But when they went back to the prison, and he mentioned it again about how you're not hardcore. I mean, you're hardcore. You won't understand emotions. And Tiger ran up and hugged him. He seems like even though I'm hardcore, I understand emotions. It's okay, Poe. But I can't watch my friend die. Yeah, I hear a ton of noise. It's the washing machine going. As soon as he turned off the light, he's washing his clothes. So you can't really get too mad at that. You gotta wash the clothes. That was a nice another emotional moment with Ping. Since Poe is still his son, he raised him like his son. He keeps going out to go fight these dangerous villains and saving China. You might think he might die out there. Plus, he don't really get to see his son anymore now that he's the Dragon Warrior. So it was kind of nice emotional moment to see Pink too. I love the moment. I love the moment when they were on the boat and they were going to the place. Actually, I don't think they named it. I think Sifu just like you have to go to where that weapon is and destroy it, or it'll be the end of Kung Fu. So, but when they're on that boat, Poe was like, I just found out my dad wasn't really my dad. Target's like, your dad, the pigeon. I mean, your dad, the bird. That must have been really, that must have been really hard for you. It just posed like happy-go-lucky face, like your dad, the bird. That was hilarious. I actually thought that was hilarious. And the Kung Fu in the movie is amazing. It was amazing in the first movie, but DreamWorks knows how to draw or animate fighting scene like crazy. The beginning fighting scene where they went to that musical village and they were using like everything was like a beat because they kept hitting all the instruments together. That was really cool. The fight choreography scenes when they were fighting all the wolves at the end of the movie. Even here, I remember at the end of the movie that was a cool move what Viper did. Like she took control of somebody's body and started fighting people. That was dope too. Like all the fighting in this movie is amazing. What else I have to say about this movie? I never played the game. I played the game for the first movie. I never played the game for the second movie or the third one, but I played the game for the first movie. I remember this one that we got to see Masters Ox, Croc, and Rhino, and there was an animated short that showed us the beginnings of Ox, Croc, and Rhino, which is pretty cool. And they had to fight the Wu sisters. It was a cool thing because the Wu sisters wasn't in the first movie. I don't think they even mentioned in the first movie. But they were mentioned in the. I mean, there was an animated short that showed us the beginning of with Oogway bringing together Ox, Croc, and Rhino, and they had to fight the Wu sisters, and the Wu sisters was in the first game. I remember that because I remember that missing because as a kid it was so hard. It was so hard, but that was pretty cool. Ox, Croc, and Rhino, they didn't really get to do too much. I mean, they get to fight at the end. Ox and Croc were like depressed after Rhino died when he got killed by that weapon. That was a crazy emotional because they kept mentioning he was dead, and then when they were walking towards the palace and you see because they shot the weapon point blank, so it's like that line in the ground from the weapon is going straight, and it hit Rhino, and you see that big crater at the end. You can see his hammer broken in half right there, just to scare people. And the wolf was like, yeah, come on guys, and they like patted the hammer, let's go. Okay, that was a cool shot. They kept saying. I mean, they weren't saying like constantly he was dead, but they mentioned that a few times. And, they always nah, he has to be alive or something. You can see his hammer stuck in the ground, and you see the lion from the cannon fire and the wolf. Come on, let's go. Okay, that was good. That was really good. I like that. I really like that. And you can't get a kid more hyped for a next movie than the ending of this movie. I mean, come on now. Look. Poe learns inner peace by accepting his past, right? And he's able to catch all those cannonballs, especially that last cannonball. Come on, you can't tell me that wasn't dope. You can't tell me that wasn't dope, man. When he caught that last cannonball, he was like trying to contain it, and he starts to like spin around, and he turns into the yin yang. That was pretty cool. And he like threw it back, and it went right into the mouth of the dragon like cannon thing. That was dope. And after everything he did, wiping out his whole, after the peacock guy, after wiping out his whole species, in Poe's eyes, killing his mom and his dad, Poe still tried to reconcile with him. He still tried to be a nice guy and talk to him, which is really nice. But obviously he just couldn't change his ways, and he wanted to fight Poe. And then when that giant cannon fell on him, he didn't even try to run. He just stood there and like closed his eyes. That was crazy. I mean, that was crazy. Inner peace was cool. I knew inner peace was always cool, man, because my man Sifu caught a drop of water and was just gliding it against his arm. Like, come on, inner peace. I wanted that. I really want that. That was cool. I like that emotional moment in the movie where, the Fears 5, they think Poe is dead because when they were attacking the factory, making all the weapons, Poe got shot point blank with the thing. Point blank, and he went flying. I mean, that made your heart drop, man. As soon as he got shot with it, it went flying. And I also kind of, I don't know, cause I think obviously Peng does feel a bit of sadness for doing what he did. Obviously, he just exterminated the whole race. You feel kind of sad. I mean, you feel kind of eaten up about that. Because remember when Po kept asking him what happened that day, and he just kept lying. He just kept saying your parents didn't love you, your parents didn't love you, they gave you up, they died or whatever. But even at the end, right before he shot, because in his mind, getting shot point blank with this thing, you're dead. Even then, he didn't even want to tell him. I guess just to taunt Po, even at death's door. But at the same time, like, why does Ping? I think that's his name. I mean, Zhao. Why does the peacock dude keep lying to Po? Why doesn't he just say? Obviously, right before that, I understand why he keeps lying. He just wants to taunt Po. But when he thinks, I got the killing shot, I thought he, might have would have said, "I killed your mother" and everything, and boom, kill him. But even when he thought he was dead, he just kept on lying. I don't know. And then after that, the Fierce Five, they get captured. They chained up. Monkey was like, "Come on, guys, we have to have resolve." Wouldn't Po want us to have that? Tigress? And they came at Panda with a tigress, and she like, she's like, well, she doesn't like flat out cry, like bust her eyes up. You can tell like she just puts her head down and she starts to shake, like she's really sad. Po, in their eyes, Po is dead. I mean, that was really sad, man. Po, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm smiling. I'm smiling with that. That was a really sad emotional moment. I like that because Tigress don't get too many of those. I like that moment when they went to the the prison to get Ox and Croc out of there. Monkey says, "I'll be on lookout and I'll give you guys a signal." Caca, caca, and Po goes like Crane does. You like, yep. When do I ever do that? And then right after that, when they were fighting to get Ox and Croc out of the prison, and Ox threw Po out of the prison, and Tigress just easily caught him, twisted him around, landed him, and the whole time Po was like this. You see that? That was awesome. What made it more funny was how Tiger, anybody else trying to hold him, it's too much. Even with Crane, all the time. But Tiger's easy. You see that? That was awesome. That was all. This movie is so much fun. It's hilarious. It has cool fight scenes, emotional scenes, especially when Po went to like the Panda village that used to be, and he found a little doll he used to have, and he kept like seeing the memory play out, and he kept trying to force it out of him. But the goat lady was like, "No, you gotta let it play out. You gotta accept your past. Just let it play out." And Po just let it play out. And we saw his backstory with Ping killing everybody. His dad is like that. Remember, it was like those 2 to 3 wolves and the peacock guy running up on Po as a baby, and his mom, and his dad had that hammer. Boom! Run! Okay. Po's dad is like that. He's like, I like that. Really like that scene. But you get to see that whole scene play out. That was really nice scene. Obviously, you can't get a kid more hype. Because this whole movie, every panda got extinct. Everybody died. But at the very end of the movie, you see his dad in that cool robe thing, and he's like, "My son is alive." And then the camera pans out, and you see that whole panda village. I'm like, "What? They're alive?" And then boom, end the movie. I'm like, "Yo, when is Kung Fu Panda 3 coming out?" I was so ready for this movie, man. Kung Fu Panda. Well, I'll probably do Kung Fu Panda 1 for whenever the next cartoon. Well, not the very next one. But later on, I'll do Kung Fu Panda 1, and then I'll do 3. You gotta go ahead and do the first one, but I'll do 3 first. I mean, I'll do 1 first, and then I'll do 3, okay? But 3 was amazing. I remember I saw that in theater with my friend and his mom. I thought that movie was crazy. I remember I heard, my back is starting to ache. I remember I heard somewhere that they wanted to make 6 or 4. I heard 6 or 5. I heard 6 or 5 Kung Fu Pandas movies, and I think they had like a legit plan. I don't think they were just like, "Yeah, we want to make 6." I think they actually had like a storyline planned out and stuff for whatever 4, 5, or 6 was going to be. They wanted to make 6, and I heard Kung Fu Panda 3. I think it did make a lot of money. I guess it wasn't as much as they wanted to, or I don't know, but I guess I don't know. Cause I know they got bought out by Universal now, so now it's up to Universal. They're coming out with another. Because they came out with a cartoon series on Nickelodeon, which was pretty good. And that was coming out around 2 and 3 time. Then they came out with another one on Amazon Prime with these other panda kids that had powers. I never watched that one. I thought that looked weird. And then now they're coming out with another cartoon series on Netflix. And that has like these 2 weird looking weasel villains, and Poe's voice sounds a bit. It is Jack Black, because I can hear it, and they do confirm that this is Jack Black playing Poe again, but it does sound a bit off. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's been a while since he's done anything Kung Fu Panda, but I don't know. They keep coming out with these series, but no movies. So I don't even know if the series are canon to the movies. I don't even know that, but I don't know. I guess the very first one is always the best one for me. And unless this one it can top it, I don't know. The one that's coming out on Netflix in like a month or so. But the very first series they had on Nickelodeon, I don't know if any other Kung Fu Panda series can beat that. I should have done. I just realized Kung Fu Panda had cartoon shows. This is mainly so. I should have just done one of those. I was the first one because I only watched the first one. Well, it was whatever. Okay, I'll just do that next time. That completely went over my head until I just started talking about it. I don't know why. I just don't know why. Okay, whatever. So, like, share, and subscribe. I see you all later. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all out there for being wonderful human beings. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. So dumb on me.